I'm Ashlyn Whitfield. Welcome to Caravaggio, Light and Dark. Chapter 1, Introduction. Who is Caravaggio? If you ask someone that today, chances are they would either respond, "Who's that?" or even, "Bless you." But ask that same question on the streets of Rome around the turn of the 17th century, and you'll get a very different and quite striking answer. Within art history circles, the name Caravaggio has become synonymous with the archetypal, tortured, controversial artist. But how did he attain this reputation, and what led to his controversial behavior? Chapter 2, Caravaggio's Early Life. Michelangelo Merisi was born in the autumn of 1571 in Caravaggio, Cremona, in modern-day Italy, and would later come to be named after his birthplace. Before his rise to prominence as an artist, though, his childhood would be wrought with loss and tragedy. Michelangelo would come to lose his father and multiple other family members to the plague in Milan in 1576, and according to Britannica, his unruly and fiery temperament and his deep sense of abandonment may well have their origins in those traumatic events of his early childhood. In adulthood, Caravaggio would find himself at the center of repeated legal scrutiny. From bearing arms in public to assault to employing various prostitutes, he gained a reputation for petty crime and unruly behavior. He even threw an entire plate of artichokes at a waiter because he believed that they were cooked improperly. However, his criminal behavior reached a crescendo on May 28, 1606, when he fatally wounded Ranuccio Tomassoni in an illegal duel, fled Rome, and was convicted to death by decapitation in absentia. While, thus far, it may seem like Caravaggio did nothing but wreak havoc, this couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, Caravaggio's crime deeply influenced his art, which would go on to shape both the Baroque movement during his lifetime and Western art as a whole moving forward. Chapter 3, Caravaggio's Art and its Influence on Our World. Death and decapitation are common themes in many of Caravaggio's most famous works, most of which were created after his duel in 1606. These works include the Beheading of St. John the Baptist, painted in 1608, Salome with the Head of St. John the Baptist, painted in 1610, and David with the Head of Goliath, painted sometime around 1609 to 1610. All of these works feature a biblical subject who has been violently decapitated, either in combat or in condemnation. William Penchak, historian, asserts in his book, The Films of Derek Jarman, that his, Caravaggio's, is the severed head of Goliath in David with the Head of Goliath. The analysis of Caravaggio inserting himself into the role of the punished or persecuted in his works as a result of his real-life persecution supports the idea that Caravaggio's crimes weave themselves into his work, and thus there would be no widely revered artist Caravaggio without the controversial criminal Caravaggio. Beyond the motif of decapitation found in many of Caravaggio's later works, the majority of his works feature large, sweeping areas of darkness, contrasted by prominent figures in dramatic lighting. Liaison Gallery offers, take, for instance, Judith beheading Holofernes, where the stark contrast between light and dark heightens the tension and brutality of the scene. The background consists of darkness, the middle ground of drapery with intense shadow, and the foreground features three figures, Judith beheading Holofernes while illuminated clearly, Holofernes being beheaded while cast in shadow, and Judith's maidservant assisting her mistress on the edge of the scene. This pattern of lighting, featuring a darkened background and figures in various shades of light, can be seen across many of Caravaggio's works, possibly revealing a parallel between the contrast of light and dark in his paintings and in his personal life. Caravaggio was a man caught between the light of artistic greatness and the shadow of criminality. Without his criminality, though, Caravaggio's works would be flat and lack the contrast reflected in his sordid life. Because of their innovative use of light and shadow, Caravaggio's works have endured as iconic symbols of the beginning of the Baroque movement and have also gone on to influence artists in contemporary society. In fact, his art spawned a group of loyal artist followers called the Caravaggisti, including well-known Italian artists Artemisia and Orazio Gentileschi, as well as the Spanish royal court painter Diego Velázquez. Additionally, modern filmmaker Martin Scorsese has attributed Caravaggio as a main influence for his film Mean Streets, stating, "It's basically people sitting in bars, people at tables, people getting up. The Calling of St. Matthew, but in New York. Making films with street people was what it was really about, like he, Caravaggio, made paintings with them." A side-by-side of Caravaggio's work, The Calling of St. Matthew, and Mean Streets can be seen in the image here. Like Scorsese asserted, both scenes depict common people in domestic low-light settings, reflecting the reality of everyday life. Chapter 4. Conclusion. Caravaggio may have had a complicated personal life, from loss in early childhood to crimes, both petty and serious. However, these crimes shaped both his life and his work as a result, and allowed him to become the iconoclast in Baroque painting that we know today, a role that has both shaped his contemporary artist works and the works of artists today. In all, Caravaggio may not have been well liked among his peers, but his influence and impact on society today could not have been achieved without his misdeeds.